Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 159. And today, man, we're gonna talk about me. And the things I've been through the last year, couple years, whatever not, right? I wasn't gonna make this podcast. I mean, I was gonna make a podcast, but the thought just entered my head. I'm like, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to expound on or what I wanted to hit on. But today, man, we just gonna talk about me, and I think it's important to realize that everybody grows and matures at different rates. I've been in situations now, looking back on it now that I'm approaching my mid 30s. Well, not approaching. I am in my mid 30s, and it's crazy all the shit I used to do. Um, and none of it was bad. It was just like just running around doing stupid shit. Juggling three, four, sometimes five girls at the same time. Um, phone always not. Phone was never not dry. Uh, and I'm not saying that I'm a player, pimp, or anything like that, because I'm not. But when you don't or don't want to have to be emotionally vulnerable, um, you end up just blocking your own blessings because you don't know how to be vulnerable. So I had to teach myself how to do that. I had to teach myself like, yo, okay, everything you went through was fucked up, no doubt, but that doesn't mean that the next girl deserves the same version that this other girl's got. She doesn't deserve that. And I was sitting there with myself last night. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And this is me talking to me. And I said, yeah, you're right, because I did a lot of shit that um not necessarily that I'm not saying that I'm not proud of it, but looking back on it, it's like I get it because I was running from something, and that something was me, and that something was me not being wanting to be vulnerable with the wrong person. Um, and it took a while for me to sit there and realize, okay, like, yo, you can either keep on this facade that like nothing bothers you or whatever it is, or you can actually deal with your shit. And I dealt with my shit the best way I know how. I sat with my emotions. I talked it through with myself. I even wrote songs about this shit, bro. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's important to realize that if you want to get better, you have to recognize that there's a problem first. You don't get better by just not recognizing that you don't have a problem. And my problem was being emotionally unavailable, but at the same time, doing just enough to get girls in my sheets, knowing that it wasn't going to lead to nothing else than what we were going to do. And broke a lot of hearts, man. And it's like, because I just wasn't willing to put myself out there emotionally to be vulnerable with another individual. Now I can get down with the best of them, do my thing, whatever it is, right? Whoop de whoop. But in terms of me having the ability to be emotionally vulnerable, that was tough for me. And that's a problem I've always had. Um, and like I said, I had to sit with myself, and I had to think about it. Like, okay, that boom. Like, what are you doing that's causing you to have to not be vulnerable, and to not want to have a connection with somebody other than physically have a connection, right? And what it came down to, man, is just like, niggas are scared. You know what I mean? I was scared that it wasn't gonna work out. I was scared all this shit was gonna happen, X, Y, and Z. And what's wild is that what happened was that all the shit I was afraid about, it did happen. You know, all the shit I was, you know, terrified to go through, um, I didn't go through it. You know, because I refused to be emotionally av- available to people who, you know, who not, I don't want to say that they didn't deserve it, but they didn't deserve it from me. Because I've run into people that I've had things, you know, flings with things and flings with, and it's like it's awkward because now it's like, okay, it's like we done did that X, Y, and Z, but why did you ghost me? Or why did you stop talking to me? Or why were you just doing one thing? And a lot of the times, man, it just had to it stem down to the fact of two things. I gave you what you wanted, and I didn't want to be emotionally vulnerable with you. Heavy, heavy on the ladder. I got a song coming out on the album. It's called Love and Tolerance. And there's a verse that I say in it that is gonna tie all this together. But yeah, man, I think it's important to realize that if you want to do better, you have to get better. You got to recognize that it starts with you. It's not an external thing. It's an internal thing. You have to realize, okay, like I'm doing X, Y, and Z, but why am I not getting the results that I want? I'm not saying that, you know, you got to do a complete 180, but when you pop out with a certain individual, people gonna know. You know, they gonna see it in in your mannerisms and how you carry yourself and everything else that you do, because you can't help but not see that. Um, and I think a lot of men, you know, and I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, whatever, it doesn't matter. A lot of us have this inability to be emotionally available and vulnerable with the women that we encounter, you know. And with me, I'm always thinking, my wheels are always turning. I'm very intentional with the shit I say, and with the shit I do. I'm also very intentional with that. I'm never gonna sit here and waste your time. I'm not gonna sit here and play games with you. I'm not gonna do anything like that because I don't want people doing that shit to me. And I think that's important. That people realize that playing games with people or not being upfront with people really fucks a lot of people up. Because I've had girls, you know, in my past. Like I'd be like, yo, like we can do it, but once we do what we, you know, the physical act of what we do, there's nothing there for you. You know, other than maybe a booty call or two after that, we're never gonna talk again. And they think I'm playing, and I'm not. You know, and there have been situations where I've been vulnerable with the wrong people too. You know, or I've tried to maintain a connection that just wasn't there. Um, and it had nothing really to do with me catching feelings or anything like that. It was more along the lines of, okay, like this is what it was, but it's just all you wanted. And so that's me trying to tell you, like, we can actually do the real thing, you know, actually be an item, whatever it is, but you got to tell me what you want. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and try to read your fucking mind and do X, Y, and Z because niggas ain't built like that. You know, you got to use your words. You know, be verbal. Like the hoodie says, I may be introverted, but motherfucker, I still talk. Um, and yeah, man, it's like when you find people who vibe with you just strictly off that, it makes communication a lot easier because you no longer have to front. You no longer have to put on a facade that everything's everything, or everything's copacetic, and you don't have to do that. And believe me when I tell you, it is so refreshing not to do that. You don't have to sit there and pretend that everything's okay. You don't have to do X, Y, and Z because it doesn't matter. Um, excuse me. And yeah, that's just me in a nutshell, man. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, cause we've all been there. We've all been burned. We've all been played in our faces and thinking that that this person might be the person, and come to find out they just a person. It's like, and yeah, and I think it's important to realize that there's things and there's situation and things that we all go through, and a lot of people need to realize that you're the main player in the game. Like, yes, it doesn't mean you can't have a co-player or co-pilot to go with you, to go with you. But a lot of the times, man, a lot of people just love the attention, and you have to be able to see that and understand that. Because very few people want to build with you, dog. Very few people want to do that. A lot of people, and maybe just me getting older and just realizing that people in my age group and younger, and sometimes even older too, like they don't want to finish. Like they don't want the build up. They don't want the start up. They want the finished product. They want the motherfucker who's got it together. They want the motherfucker who's a. It's crazy to me how women say like, I want a man who's emotionally intelligent, emotionally available, this and that. And when you meet a man you're not ready for it. And when you meet a man like that, you don't know how to deal with it because being emotionally intelligent and being emotionally available is also a reason for you to get your shit together. Everybody loves a dude who's all that, who's already whatever, what's already aforementioned. Everybody loves that dude. But what they fail to realize is like, yo, that same dude or that same woman is gonna bring out the version of you that you haven't or that you don't want to work on. It's like that version of you that's been hiding in the closet, or that you don't want to work on. The version of you that is hurt, scarred, in pain. That's the version that's gonna pop up, and that's the version that you have to work on and that you have to get better at. Because there's nothing cool about walking around acting like shit don't bother you. There's nothing cool about, you messing over multiple people, whether it's, because girls do it too. Whether it's girls, guys, whatever it is, right? There's nothing cool about that. If anything, that's a bitch move. If anything, that shows you how you act and how you need to maintain a particular image because that's how people see you. You know what I mean? So, and it's like, I think at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that a lot of people aren't socially and mentally aware of who they really are and what they really bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, we are who we are, but it doesn't mean that we gotta stay who we are. And I think once people realize that, and once they come to a understanding that, okay, yeah, I get it. It's fucked up, but my childhood, X, Y, and Z, this and this and that, or like my mama didn't love me, or my daddy didn't love me enough, or nobody hugged me enough as a child. I get it, I understand it, but it doesn't mean that you have the right to mess people over and to use and abuse people or get used and abused by people simply because you want them around. Now, I'm not saying that I've done what's aforementioned because I haven't. Um, I've always been upfront with people, and as I told them directly, like, yo, like, okay, like this is what we doing, boom, 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 boom. It wasn't like they didn't know, because they knew. Um, they just thought they could change your brother, and most of the times you can't, man. It's like people don't change for other people; they change for themselves. And you gotta get tired of dealing with your own shit, and you have to get tired of dealing with everything else that comes with that. And you have to be able to realize, okay, like I get it, because at the end of the day, or all the daily project, you know, it's never not gonna be complete. Um, that's why they call today the present. Can't do nothing about yesterday's gone. Can't do nothing about tomorrow because it's not here yet. But what you can do is focus on the present. Be present in every situation you're in. Understand that every situation that you're in doesn't really require all your energy and your time. A lot of people will become engulfed in a situation that doesn't really need them to be engulfed by. And it's crazy people will that people will not understand about what they go through and how they go through it. And if you don't recognize what you're doing, you're gonna make the same mistake over and over and over again. You're gonna make the same mistake in any situation, whether it's personal, professional, whatever it is, because a lot of people won't recognize what they're doing until it's pointed out to them. Or they'll recognize it, but they'll recognize it too late. And by the time they recognize it, it's way too late to fix it. So that's what I battle with, man. I battle with trying to be the best version of myself daily. You know, try to be 1% better than I was the day before. There's a quote um, that I read, and it had to do with physical fitness, right? And the quote said, "If you do 1% better than you did yesterday for a whole year, that's 365% better than you were the previous year." And it's true. I don't care what it is. With me, it could be music, could be bodybuilding. I always try to be better than I was the day before. I'm never not going to stop trying to be that. You know, um, it's funny because this one person told me something that was pretty evident though. This one individual thought I was mean, and then when they finally got to know me, they're like, how you know, interacted with people before I started talking to you is not how you are at all. Because this individual would always see me in the gym, but I have a really bad habit of not talking to people. I just go in and get my lifts in and I leave, right? And this individual said, like, yeah, like I thought you were like every other guy in that place where you just come in, you know, look mean as fuck, have a resting bitch face, and you try to sleep with every, you know, with every girl that you can. And I was like, damn, that's because a nigga don't talk. I was like, okay, yeah, no, I just there are certain things that I hold really, really close to me, and bodybuilding is one of them. I don't like to bother people while they're working out. I don't like to talk to people while they're working out. You know what I mean? So I try to emulate that too. You know, unless it's extremely important, yeah, I'll take my headphones off. But if it's not, then there's no point. But it's crazy how people will take that situation and they'll apply it to everything else before they even start talking to you. Um, and me, I'm not like that, man. It's like I'm social and everything, but I'm never not gonna be in. I'm never not gonna be an asshole, standoffish, unless there's a situation between us. And I'll simply say, like, hey, is there an issue, whatever it is? If there's an issue, we can fix it if you want to fix it. But if you don't want to fix it, that's cool too. I'm not going to sit here and force communication and interactions with you if you don't want to do that. I'm too old to be chasing motherfuckers or trying to make niggas like me, whatever it is, because I'm not doing that. But what I am going to do, I am going to communicate with you and be like, hey, and ask you, like I just said, is there an issue? If you say no, cool. If you say yes, alright. And if you want to fix it, cool. But the one thing I won't do, I won't sit there and be like, well, let's fix this, boom, 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 and the other person doesn't want to fix it. I ain't doing all that, bro. Ain't built that way. Sorry. Like, you don't like my ass? Cool. Niggas ain't tripping over you. You know what I mean? So, but that's just how I am, bro. It's like I don't judge people. I don't well, I shouldn't say I don't judge people. I try not to judge people. But it's human nature to judge people, right? But at the end of the day, man, I am who I am. Either you gonna love me or you not gonna like me. And you most likely gonna misunderstand me because, like I said, it's like I'm that dude who's hella nice once you get to know him. I just don't talk a lot, man. It's like unless I'm in the booth, that's about it. Anyway, y'all, this is about 22 minutes of your life that you won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4 P's. Private play, positive pushing. I see y'all next week. I love y'all. Ghosts. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace.